after he got suspended for one game for that late hit on Jared McCann.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the right call for that. Bunting got 3 for his, but Chernak didn't even touch the puck, and it was a headshot. So I think they got it right on that one.
Yeah, there were some in the media that were thinking maybe 2 was a possibility. I think just using the Bunting incident as a comparable, but there had to be something, in my opinion, and one game in the playoffs is usually for something like that. It's pretty standard.
Yeah, I would have been okay. I wouldn't have been outraged with 2, but I'm not outraged with 1.
Yeah.
I think it had to be a suspension. It wasn't a good play, but you know, I think that in general, the one thing I would say is there there needs to be better explanation on what the play, how this is determined, and if it's dirty or not. If that makes any sense, because I think they did a really good job yesterday during the Dallas Minnesota game during the fax the Foligno hit, just getting from a player and a referee's perspective of why the player didn't feel like this was it's a penalty but not a major, and why the ref would call it a major.
Well, okay, so cynical point of view here. I mean, I because they have this system in place now with Sean rails against too much expansion of video review, but so this is a case where it's changing the way the games are being managed. Like, it's so easy now for the officials to just call the major penalty, whether they believe that to be true or not, and then have the ability to go and re-officiate the play on the tablet. Like, I'm not keen on that. I mean, the intention of that rule was to be able to correct like the situation with that happened there with the Golden Knights and Joe Pavelski a few years ago, that led to a bunch of goals and a big comeback in that 7th game. But the idea is to call it a major if you see it as a major, and I don't think that's what's happening here now. What we're seeing is anything questionable where you've got like this, like huge reaction to it. They get together, decide to call it a major, and then they get to go back and look at it again. I don't. It's kind of stinky to me. And then in the case of the Makar play on Jared McCann, they ended up downgrading it to a minor, and then the league has to come in and suspend, right? Like, if they had just called the major penalty, maybe there wouldn't have been a suspension at all. And it should have been a major penalty. I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of how this whole thing works.
I think I'm okay. I'm okay with it if you just say we will. I think if you just say the compromise here on this would be, I'm okay with it if this is a dangerous play and we will review to see if it is a major or a minor, but we are calling a penalty and we review it. And then I think because sometimes I would imagine, Tyler, it would be nice to get just another look, just to make sure to see what you saw. I think the review one that bothered me was the overtime Kings and Oilers, where it took 942 years to figure out if Gabe Vilardi touched the puck. That was ridiculous.
Go back to what I've been saying for a while. Yeah. If for at least with goals, if you can't disprove what the call on the ice was within a minute of reviewing it stands. Like this, taking 5 minutes, it's stupid. It takes away from the game. Like, we're dealing with humans here, and for everyone who's like, I'm gonna pull a John Garrett and get on my soapbox here.
Please.
For everyone who wants to rail on the officials, say that the league's like 5th rate, or that they're the worst officials amongst the major leagues, you're out to lunch. You go look at the Super Bowl had a controversial holding call at a key time that people say cost the game. Go watch MLB. Go watch baseball and the amount of balls and strikes that constantly get argued. Let alone you've got the all these new rules, and you had Max Scherzer getting kicked out for having rosin on his arm or whatever. Like it happens everywhere. It happens in every sport, every league. There's calls that you don't like.